The next question will be starting with Christine, is on education. What are your priorities for our public school system? Specifically, what are your thoughts on how we evaluate students and teachers, and do you support charter schools? 2 minutes for Christine.
That was like 12 questions.
There were actually 12 questions I merged into one.
No, I think I've got it. Standardized testing is taking over our schools. Most of you know this. Standards are very important, but they're one part of how we should measure schools, how we measure teachers, how we measure learning. We need to make sure we're looking at the whole student. And for too long, MCAS and now moving to the PARCC system is really narrowing what we are looking at and missing out on a lot of what has made our education great. I'm opposed to lifting the charter school cap. Charter schools do not serve all students, and I'm a strong proponent of making sure that we are providing resources to all of our public schools and that the schools are providing an opportunity for all children to learn. Charter schools often are not as available to children who do not speak English as a first language at home or who have disabilities. And I think investing in all of our public schools is critical at this point.
Sharon, 2 minutes?
I think I've given you more than 2 minutes for this.
No.
Well, public education has been a huge passion of mine since when I was a kid. I've served on the Medford School Committee. I'm on the board of Citizens for Public Schools. The priorities in our public education system are to make sure we have adequate funding, not just adequate, but the funding we need to properly educate our students. The resources, we need to move away from this high-stakes standardized testing. This is just part of, I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but this is just part of the corporate privatization of our public education. The testing, first of all, we don't test what we say we want our kids to learn from school. There's no way you can test creative problem solving and whole child issues, social skills and everything that we want our schools to impart to our children. Plus they don't measure what they say they do, and the statistical analysis is very flawed. Using test scores to evaluate our students, our teachers, and our schools and school districts is appalling. We need to have, teachers can use standardized tests, but they should only be used as assessments for a baseline for the students. Students should be evaluated by the people on the ground that know them best, the teachers. The teachers should be evaluated by their administrators and senior teachers or their peers. The schools and the district should be measured by other data points, such as, I can tell you about that later.
I will use the moderator prerogative for one follow-up question, which is the question of charter schools. You have 30 seconds.
Charter schools do play an important part in many children's, parents, families' options. It gives an option to kids that might not fit into a traditional public school, and every child learns differently. We need to have different models of education. However, the way the charters are funded in Massachusetts is really unfair to the sending districts. Not only do they not reflect the demographics of the sending districts, they use more money from the district than it would cost to educate that child within the district. And again, I can go on that later. Sorry. I told you I needed more than